I want to thank you both, Michael. Also, I want to get Sam in just to get one more voice before we go. Sam, welcome in. Tell folks who don't know where you are, who you're supporting, and what's on your mind, please.
I am in the great state of Texas, and I have been somewhat unsure, but I've been looking for a reason to vote for Harris. But I think at this point, I made up my mind. I will be voting for Donald Trump.
Tell
Um,
us why.
well, I'll start by saying something that I said a few weeks ago. The last time I came on is I think the Harris campaign has done a really good job in keeping race as um, an off the table issue and going past that because I think as as a young black person, the way I see it is we've come so far from where my parents were and their parents especially were in terms of race relations that we ought to try to move beyond that. And I think they've done a good job in that. And I just wanted to, the reason I came on was to say that specifically to Michael and say, I understand that there's racism still is a huge problem. It's something that I've seen in my lifetime as well. But I just think we're at such a beautiful point in the history of the United States where we've come so far that it just takes away from the actual accomplishments of Kamala Harris and many black leaders that we have to reduce disagreement to just purely race based
Hmm.
thing. I have a lot of agreement, especially in foreign policy, and that's what made me raise my hand. I have a lot of agreement in foreign policy and economic policy with Donald Trump, and that's why I'm voting for him. I think I'm very blessed to be able to be in a position where I can say no to voting for a possible black president because we've come so far. If that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Well said. Was there something that was pivotal for you in making your decision, or just the sort of a gradual over time?
I've just been kind of insulted by the types of appearances that Kamala Harris has had. Um, I think she had been very effective as a senator when she, especially in the Kavanaugh hearings. As much as I kind of wavered back and forth between whether she was right or wrong. She's an effective communicator. She's an incredibly smart woman. And I don't know why the campaign has shortchanged us by putting. I mean, yesterday's interview really was what put me over the top to to go to Stephanie Ruhle of all people who had defended her to the hilt like that on Bill Maher. I think just get in front of people that disagree and make those arguments. Make the arguments. Show how smart you are. Show how eloquent you are as a speaker, as she had done in the past. And it's just kind of insulting to not have that. And then from an economic standpoint, I just think I don't really I haven't really been able to get an idea of where exactly she stands, like what issues that are somewhat controversial that'll maybe piss off the left, the further people further left, further right. Does she really stand on? I haven't seen any of that conviction from her. So at this point, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking economically. I think Donald Trump proved that he was a reasonable steward of the economy, and that's the way I'm going to vote.
Okay, Sam, one last question for you, and I want Lauren and Hogan to close us out by commenting on both Ukraine and what you said. Um, who are you going to vote for in the Senate race and why?
I'll probably vote Democrat. I'll probably split my vote. I'm not a fan of Ted Cruz. I'm not a fan of old school Republican politics. I've only ever voted for Donald Trump. I wrote in Andrew Yang in the 2020 election, and I voted none of the above in 2016. So I'm just not a fan of
Yeah.
the old school Republican Party.
So Sam, I'm so glad you came on for a bunch of reasons, including, people say, well, how could somebody vote for Donald Trump and against Ted Cruz and split their ticket like that? And you've enunciated it. And the notion that undecided voters are unicorns or people who are going to split their ticket don't exist. You've explained it well and clearly. And again, I think just add a lot of texture to understanding how it could be that Donald Trump could win your vote, but Ted Cruz could not. And we'll see that you're not in a battleground state, at least not yet. But I think your reasoning, a very reasonable reasoning, and and perspective. It reflects the views of a lot of people who are going to decide this election in those 7 states. So, Sam, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Come
Thank you.
back regularly.